Okay, so parents and children, this is Year 1 Maths, and it's our new learning lesson about equal groups, about times, about multiplication equal groups. Now, I do want to point out, parents, that we would usually do what I'm going to do in this video over a whole week. We would do it in 4 separate lessons. So please, if you feel that your child needs a break or you want to do a little bit each day, you can pause the video, you can come back to it. Please don't do it all in one sitting because it will be a bit much for your children. Okay, and there are lots of activities for you to pause the video and then do the activity together, or your children can do it independently. And there'll be lots of moments in the video where I ask you to pause, to stop the video and have a go, have a think. Okay, right, so first of all, what does the word equal mean? What does the word equal mean? Okay, we've heard that word a lot before in our maths lessons. Okay, equal. So have a think. You're going to pause, have a chat to your adults, have a think. What does the word equal mean? Yes, the word equal means the same as. It means that something is exactly the same as that. So 5, the number 5, is equal to the number 5 because they're both 5, so they're equal, they're the same. Right. Now, you've got a little activity here, and I'm going to show you some groups, okay, and I want you to discuss, to think, are these groups equal? That means, are they the same? Are the groups equal? So there you go, you can have a look, pause the video if you need to, and are these groups equal? Are they the same? Now, these groups are not the same, okay, and they're not the same because if you look at the first plate has got 3 buttons in it. The second plate has 5 buttons, and the third plate has 4 buttons. So they are not the same. There are different amounts of buttons in each plate. They are not equal. These are not equal. How could we make the groups equal? How could we do that? Have a think. You can pause the video and discuss how could we make the groups equal. Now here's an activity for you. If you could get 3 plates or tubs or paper plates, whatever you have, okay, and they're going to be our groups. Okay, so here are my 3 plates. Then I want you to get 12 counters. You could use pasta, you could use pens, you could use whatever you have, anything small, okay, that you can use. And I'd like you to do this at home, okay. So I want you now to have a go at sharing the counters out equally onto the 3 plates. Have a think, how could you do that? Well, how could you do it? How could you do it equally? Okay, so I want you can pause the video now and have a go at doing that. Show your adult if they're with you. Okay, if not, I'm going to show you how we can do it equally afterwards. Okay, you want to pause it now. Okay, so you've had a go. Right, let's go through it together and check that the counters are equal. We want them to be the same. We want the groups to be the same, the plates to be the same, to have the same number. So I'm going to start by putting 1 on this plate. Then I'm going to put another on this plate, so that's 2. 1 more on that plate. So far we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have shared out my buttons equally. Okay, we've put them on the 3 plates equally. I did 1 at a time. How do we know it's equal, children? We know it's equal because each plate has 4 buttons. Okay, so there are 3 groups. We've got 1, 2, 3, and there are 4 buttons in each group. We'd say that is 3 equal groups of 4 buttons. 3 groups that have the same number of buttons. Okay, so equal groups. Okay, now have a look at this picture in front of you guys. Okay, now you've got a picture of a young lady and she's made some groups on her plates. And you've got a picture of a young man and he's made some groups. Who made equal groups? So you can pause the video, Who made equal groups? Okay. Now, the young lady, she did make equal groups. How do we know that she made equal groups? Well, each plate has 4. Although they're not the same, they're not laid out the same, okay, each plate does have 4, so these are equal groups. There are 3 groups of 4 cookies. They are equal. Oh, but this young man, he says these are not equal groups. And why? Why aren't these equal? Why aren't they the same? Well, they're not the same because this plate has 3, the next plate has 5, and the plate after that has 5. So it's not equal. They're not in equal groups. Now, I want you to have a go at this activity, children, so you can pause the video after I've explained it. You're going to need cubes or counters or pasta, whatever you have, and some plates. So you're going to make equal groups. You need less than 10 cubes, so I'd get 10 cubes, and you're going to take turns to describe the equal groups. Okay, so you're going to make equal groups. So you might put out 2 plates, and then you can share out your counters and see if you can make groups that are equal. Remember, equal means the same. They must be equal groups. Okay, so you can pause the video and have a go at doing this. Okay, children, so we've got a picture here, it's our guided practice, and have a look. It says, which of these show equal groups? If we look at A, have a look. Okay, which of these pictures are in equal groups? So you can pause the video, have a look. Which of these are in equal groups? Which pictures are in equal groups? Which have got the same groups? Okay, so if we look at the pencils, there are 3 groups. And there are 3 pencils in each group. And that's the same number in each group, so that means there are 3 equal groups of 3 pencils. They are equal. Now, if we look at the apples, or tomatoes, wherever they are, there are 3 groups. But the groups are not equal. Why aren't they equal groups? Because they've not got the same number of tomatoes in each group. Now look at the stars. There are 3 groups. There are 4 stars in each group. They each have 4, which means the groups are equal. There are 3 equal groups of 4 stars. Okay, right guys, you can have a go at doing this. So you could pause. Okay, pause the video and have a go at doing this. So you need to write how many groups there are in the picture and how many has each group got in it. Okay, so you can have a go at doing that. Okay, so there were 4 groups, 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of buttons, and each group has 3 buttons in. Okay, so we've got 4 groups of 3 buttons. And if we look at the next picture, how many groups are there? There are 3, and each group has 5 books. Okay, so we've got 3 equal groups of 5 books. Okay, right, I'm just going to pause it there so I can take a breath. Okay, guys, so back again, had a breath. Whew. Okay, now this is sheet 1. Now, I will attach this sheet if you want to have a go at it, if you can print it off, or you can do it looking at it now. Okay, I'll attach it to the Facebook post. So let's look at sheet 1. Now it says we need to tick if the group is equal. Now I want you to have a look. So let's do the first one together. Let's look at the flowers. How many groups of flowers are there, children? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 groups. Now we need to check, are they equal? Well, this group has 3 in it. This group has 3 in it. This group has 3 in it, and this group has 3 in it. That means they are equal. So I would give it a tick. Now I want you to pause and have a go at the other 2. Now if we look, the oranges, they are not in equal groups because there's 5 in the first bag, 4 in the second bag, and 6 in the third bag. That's not equal, is it? That's not the same. So they're not equal. And then if we look at the birds, yes, they are in equal groups. There's 3 groups of 5 birds. Okay. Now, if we look on the next side of the sheet with the fish and the strawberries and the staplers, it wants you to tick the picture with equal rows. Equal rows. Well, equal means same, so it must mean the same rows. So have a look. Which one of these pictures has the same rows? No, I've given you the answer already. That was clever, wasn't it? Okay. Well done, guys. Hey, guys. So, back again. Had a little break, and I've realised I can point at things, and I've also realised I can now take off the picture of me so you can see everything on the screen. So I'm really sorry about that. Now we've realised that, that's a lot more helpful. Right, so I want you to have a look at the picture here. What do you notice about this picture? And you should be able to see my dot now. What do you notice? So if you could pause it for me, pause the video. What do you notice about the picture? Yes, they are in equal groups. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 groups, and each group has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fantastic. So there are 4 equal groups, and they have 5 drinks in each. Now, I would like to know how many cans, how many fruit drinks do I have all together? How many drinks can I have all together? I know I've got 4 groups, and there's 5 in each. But what does that mean? What am I going to do? What can I do to find that out? Now, it would take a really long time to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can do something better than that, can't we? Now, as they're in groups of 5, we can count in our 5s, and we know how to count in 5s, children, and that's something you can keep practicing. Right. So let's see what I've got. So how many cans are there all together? Let's count in 5s. So we've got 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, so we counted in our 5s. 5, add another 5 is 10, add another 5 is 15, add another 5 is 20. Okay, guys, right, so I'm going to put a picture up now and have a look at this picture. So I've put up some pictures of groups of bananas. First of all, children, can you tell me, please, how many groups of bananas are there? Now I want to know, how many bananas are there in each group? How many bananas in each group? Okay, so how many groups of bananas are there? Well, let's cross them out as we count. We've got 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups. There's our 5 groups of bananas. So there are 5 groups of bananas. How many bananas are there in each group? Okay, well, let's have a count, and we'll need to check. So in this group, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 in that group. Let's have a look at this group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they've all got 5. Okay, so there are 5 bananas in each group. And you're right, we could count in our 5s to find out how many bananas there might be altogether. I'm going to show you now how we could write this as a number sentence. Okay, so it looks a bit like this. Now, because there are 5 groups of bananas, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have this number here. That 5 means there are 5 groups of bananas. Then we have the multiplication sign symbol, okay, the operation multiplication. We can call it multiplication or times, okay, and this basically means groups, okay, it means groups. It means we have 5 groups, okay, and each group has got 5 bananas in it, okay, so there are 5 groups and each group has 5 bananas in it. 5 times 5. 5 lots of 5. 5 groups of 5. Okay. There we go. Now we're going to count. We can count in our 5s. Okay. We can count in our 5s and find out how many bananas there are all together. So I'd like you now, children, to have a go, pause the video, and can you count in your 5s and find out how many bananas there are altogether? So let's do it together then. We've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So 5 groups of 5 bananas makes 25. There are 25 bananas all together. Okay, guys, right, so let's have a look at the new picture we have in front of us. Okay, so I want you to look at this picture here. Okay, we've got a picture of some Pringle packets. Okay, so first of all, how many groups are there? So have a think. How many groups are there? Right, let's count how many groups there are. I've got 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups. Okay, so there are 3 groups of Pringles. Okay, there we go, 3 groups. How many are there in each group? So if we look, let's look at this group. How many is there in this group? There's 1, 2. There's 2 in that group. Let's check the next group. In this group, there is 1, 2. Let's check the final group. Yep, there's 1, 2. So in each group, there are 2 packets of Pringles. Okay, now, what do you think our number sentence might look like then? What could we make our number sentence look like? We know we need to have the times sign, the lots of, it means groups of. That times sign means groups of. What could it look like? Can you pause it for me and have a think? What do you think the number sentence might look like? Right, let's go through it together. So because there are 3 groups, we put the 3 here. Because this means there are 3 groups. There are 3 groups of crisps. Then we've got 3, and this means groups of, 3 groups of 2. Because there is 2 in each group. 3 groups of 2. Now, if we want to find out the answer, children, to how many there are altogether, what is 3 groups of 2? What could we count in? What could we do? Have a look at the picture. Yes, we're going to count in our 2s. So let's count in our 2s. We can do that. So we can go. There's 2. Another 2 is 4. Another 2 is 6. So we've got 2, 4, 6. So altogether, there are 6 Pringles. Okay. 3 groups of 2 Pringles equals 6. 6 Pringle pots. Okay. Right, let's have a go at doing this one together. Right, so first of all, we've got the same question again. How many groups are there? So look at the picture. How many groups are there? Let's count them. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 groups of crayons. 4 groups. There we go. We've got 4 groups. How many are there in each group? Well, it gives us away here, doesn't it? Because it says here, there's 10 in this group, there's 10 in this group, there's 10 in this group, and there's 10 in this group. So each group has 10 crayons in it. So what might our number sentence look like? Okay, we know that this operation, this means times, it means groups of. So we have 4 groups of 10. So what will the number sentence look like? Let's have a look. Okay. Right, so here we have 4 groups of 10. 4 groups of 10. 4 times 10. Now, because there's 4 groups, we write the 4. This means groups of. We've got 4 groups of 10, because there's 10 in each. 4 groups of 10. Now, I'll put that down there. Right, now, what could we do now to find out how many groups there are altogether? What could we do? You're right, children. We could count in our 10s. We could count in our 10s. Okay, so we know there's 10 in this group. So that's 10, add another 10, 20, 30, 40. So altogether, there are 40 crayons. Okay, guys, so we've been looking at equal groups, looking at groups of, making equal groups, timesing, okay? Remember that groups of is the same as times, okay? So this is an activity you can play with your brother and sister or whoever you're living with, any adult you're living with, okay, or any child you're living with. Now what you need to do is you need to have 5 plates or 5 tubs that you can use. And you also need something you can use as counters. So you might have pasta, you might use pens or pencils, or you might use whatever you've got that you can use. Right, so the first person has to choose the number of paper plates to put down. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to put down 2 paper plates. There's my 2 paper plates. Right, now, your friends, the person you're doing the activity with, they have to choose to put 2 or 5 or 10 counters on each plate. But we must remember that the plates must be equal. They must be the same. So I'm going to choose to put 2 on each plate. So I have my equal groups of 2. So there's 2 in this group. Okay, there's 2 in this group and there's 2 in this group. All right, so I've got my groups. Okay. So then I want you to find out how many you have altogether. So what could we count in? What could we count in to find out how many there are altogether? Have a look at the picture. What can you count in? Yes, I can count in my 2s, can't I, children? So I've got there 2 and another 2 is 4. So altogether there is 4 acorns. Okay, and if I wanted to be really clever, or I wanted to really challenge myself, I could write the number sentence. Now, I know that there are 2 groups, so I'm going to write there's 2. This means groups, 2 groups, and there are 2 in each group. So it would be 2 groups of 2. 2 lots of 4. 2 times 4 equals, and we know it was 2, 4. Okay, rub this out so we can see. Right, and I want you to be using this language. I want you to say for me, there are 2 groups. There are 2 in each group. Okay, so I want you to play that with your partner. Don't just do it once, you can do it a few times, okay? And remember, you can either make groups of 2, you could make groups of 5, you could make groups of 10, and then count how many groups there are altogether. Oh, look, I did the number sentence anyway, and I forgot. Okay, guys, right, so we've got the sheet here, okay, the second sheet that you can download from Facebook, or you can just do it looking at it here now. Okay, right, so it says each group has how many cats? Each group has how many cats? Okay, right, so let's do this one together. Right, well, this group has got 1, 2. This group's got 1, 2, and this one's got 1, 2. So each group has 2 cats. Okay, there are 2 cats in each group. Then it says there are how many groups? How many groups are there? Okay, well, let's find out, children. How many groups of cats do we have? Well, look, there's our first group, there's our second group, there's our third group. So that means we have 3 groups of cats. 3 groups of cats. Now, how could we find out the total number of cats? There are a total of how many cats? Total means all together. What could we count in? What could we do? What could we do to quickly find out how many cats there are? Yes, we could count in 2s because we've got 2 in this group, add another 2, 2, 4, 6. Okay, so there are 6 cats altogether. Okay, there is a total of 6 cats. Now, how could we write this as a number sentence, children? Okay, how could we write it as a number sentence? All right, well, let's have a look. Now, this 3 here, this 3 means there are 3 groups. There are 3 groups of cats. This sign here, our times sign, that means groups. So we've got 3 groups of 2 cats, because there are 2 cats in each. There's 2 cats in here, there's 2 cats in this group, and there's 2 cats in that group. So we've got 3 groups, and each group has 2 cats. Now, what we can do though, and I don't know if you knew this, we can turn the number sentence around. We can swap the numbers around, and we get the same answer, children. Okay, it still makes 6. Okay, so 2 times 3 gives us the same answer of 6. Okay, so you can turn the numbers around and get the same answer. Right, I'd like you to have a go, guys, at the rest of the sheet on your end. So you can pause the video, have a go at the sheet. Okay, or you can just look at the screen and have a go, and then we'll mark it together. All right, guys, so let's have a look at the next one. So we look at the dots, right? It says each group has how many dots? Right, each group has 5 dots. Okay, each group has 5 dots. How many groups are there? There are 4 groups. Now, what would you count in? What would you count in to find out how many dots there are altogether, the total number of dots? What could we count in? Yes, we could count in our 5s. Let's count in our 5s, children. So we have 5, add another 5 is 10. We've got 5, 10, 15, 20. So there are 20 dots all together. And if you challenged yourself to write the number sentence, we could write the number sentences like this. Let's look at the next one. Now, each group has got 10 stars in it. Okay, each group's got 10 stars. How many groups are there? There are 5 groups. There are 5 groups. So what would our number sentence look like? Well, we could write it like this. Okay, we could say, because there's 10 stars in each group of 5, we could write it like that, or we could write it like this. We've got 5 groups with 10 stars in each. How are we going to find out, guys, how many there are all together? What could we do? What could we do? What could we do? Yeah, we're going to count in our 10s, because we can see that there's 10 in each of these groups. So let's count in our 10s. So we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Right, there are a total of 50 stars. 50 stars. Right, let's look at the last one. So each group has 5 dogs in it. There are 5 dogs in each group. How many groups are there? 2 groups. So what would our number sentences look like? So we could have it like this, because there's 5 dogs in 2 groups. Or we could say there's 2 groups of 5 dogs. Our number sentences will look like this, and there are a total. Oh, we need to count. What could we do to find out how many dogs there are altogether? Well, I know there's 5 in this group, so I'm going to say 5. Add another 5, 5, 10. There are 10 dogs altogether. Right, children, so I've got another picture here. Now, when we see a picture like this, and the objects are laid out in rows, we call it arrays. This is a picture of an array. Okay, arrays. Now, I can't remember what happens next in the slide, so let's find out. Right, so my question says here, how many are there in each row? Now this here, going across, this is 1 row. Okay, so how many are there in each row? Okay, right, let's see what happens. So, there are 5. Okay, if we count them, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 in each row. Okay, so there's 5 in that row, 5 in this row, and there's 5 in this row. So you've got 5 in each row. Now it says, how many are there in each column? Now, a column is when it goes down. So how many do we have in this column here? Right, let's count it, children. We have 1, 2, 3. There are 3 biscuits in this column. There are 3 biscuits in this column. there are 3 biscuits in this column, 3 biscuits in this column, 3 biscuits in this column. Okay, so we know we've got 5 in each row and 3 in each column. So we can write it like this. We can write our number sentence as 5 groups of 3. Okay, or we could say it the other way around. We could say there's 3 groups of 5. Okay, we'd write it like this. Okay, now we want to find out how many cookies there are in total. How many cookies are there altogether? Now, what could we count in to find out how many cookies there are altogether? What could we count in? Now, we would either count in our 5s or we'd count in our 3s. Okay, now we know how to count in our 5s, don't we? We know how to count in 5s. We don't know how to count in 3s yet, so we're going to count in 5s. So, we have here 5 in this row. So we've got 5 in this row, we've got 5 in this row, and we've got 5 in this row. Okay, so let's count in our 5s. So let's go 5, add another 5, 10, 15. So there are 15 cookies all together. Okay. There we go, we're counting it there, 5, 10, 15. Okay, we've counted in our 5s. Now, I'm going to try and rub all this out really quickly. So if we count the rows, we're counting in 5s. We've got 5, 10, 15. Okay. Now, let's have a look at this picture. Okay. So in this picture, how many are there in each row? Right, let's check how many there are in each row by crossing them out. So you can count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we have 10 in that row. We've got 10. 10 in each row. There's 10 in this row here, and there's also 10 in this row. Okay, so we've got 10 and 10. There's 10 in each row. I'm just going to rub this out. Now, we could also have a look, how many are there in each column? Remember, column is when it goes down. So here, how many have we got in this column? We've got 1, 2. There's 2 in there. There's 2 in this column, 2 in this column, 2 in this column. So it carries on. Okay, so we know that our number sentence must be 10 times 2. Now, if we wanted to find out how many there were altogether, children, what could we count in? We can count in our 10s and we can count in our 2s. So let's have a go first at counting in 10s. So we've got 2 rows of 10s. So there's 10 in this row, so that's 10. Count another 10, 10, 20. Okay, so it's 10, 20. But we can count in our 2s, so we could count the columns. So we have 2 in that column, 4, we're going to count in our 2s, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Get the same answer, okay, because there's 20 soldiers all together. 20 soldiers all together. Okay, right. Yeah, so the total number is 20 soldiers. Okay. Okay, guys, so we're going to do an activity. I would like you to do this activity if you can with an adult or an older brother or sister, if you have one. Okay, so the adult is going to give the children a number of counters that is in a multiple of 2, 5, or 10. So the children will then organise them into equal rows. So do they go into rows of 2, 5, or 10? So, for example, children, your parents could model it to you like this. So they might give you 12 counters. And you could try and put those 12 counters into rows of 5. Okay, you could put the 12 counters into rows of 5. What you'll find is that you can't put them into rows of 5, but you could put the counters into rows of 2. Okay, and then with your adult, you could discuss, are your rows equal? How many rows are there? How many in each row? How many altogether? I'm hoping, adults, that you can understand what I've written here. It's a bit difficult to explain in child language. Okay, right, thank you. Okay, guys, so this is the last slide. Okay, and this is sheet 3. So if you want to download, print off sheet 3, you can from Facebook, or you could write it out on a piece of paper. Your parents could write it out with you. Okay, right, so let's have a look at the first number sentence. So the first number sentence we have got is 2 times 6. 2 times 6. Now, how could we answer this? What could we draw to help us get our answer? Well, guys, this 2 here, this 2 means that we need to have 2 groups. Okay, we're going to have 2 rows, 2 groups. So there's our 1 row, our 2nd row. So they're going to be our 2 groups. We know there has to be 2 groups. But what does the 6 mean? We've got 2 groups of 6. So we need to put 6 in each group. Okay, we need to put 6 in each group. We need to put 6 in this group and 6 in this group. So let's do that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've put 6 in one group, but I need 2 groups, so I need to have another 6. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you can draw that for me, that would be great. So then you've got your 2 groups of 6. Now, if I want to find out how many there are altogether, what could we count in? Now, I can't count in 6s. We could count in 6s. We could do 6. We could do this 6, add this 6. But I can't count in 6s, so I don't want to do that yet. What I can count in, though, is I can count in 2s. So we could count this 2, this 2, this 2. We could count all of them in 2s. So let's have a go at doing that. So we've got 2 here. It's 2 here. If we add the next 2, 2, 4, add another 2, 6, add another 2, 8, add another 2, 10, add another 2, 12. Okay, so altogether there are 12. Okay, so we would say that 2 times 6, 2 groups of 6, 2 lots of 6 is 12. Okay, because there's 12 altogether. Now, I'm not going to do the rest of the sheet for you because I'd like you to have a go at doing it. Okay, I'd like you to have a go at doing it. You can draw the picture to help you. Let's just start the next one together and then you can carry on. Right, so the first number is 5. So we've got 5 times 3, 5 lots of 3, 5 groups of 3. So we know we need to have, how many groups, children? How many groups could we have? We need to have 5. So we could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We know we need 5 groups. But how many am I going to put in each group? Yes, I need to put 3 in each group. Okay, so I'm going to put 3 in this group. 1, 2, 3. 3 in this group. 1, 2, 3. 3 in this group. 1, 2, 3. And 3 in this group. 1, 2, 3. So now I've made my groups of 3. Now, I could count in 3s. So I'm going to show you how we could count in 3s. So we could count 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, so there was 3, 6, 9, 12. But we haven't learnt to count in 3s yet. What have we learnt to count in? Yes, we have learnt to count in 5s. So we can go look down and we're going to count in 5s. So there's one group of 5. So that's 5, 10, 15. Now I'm going to let you have a go at doing the rest of the sheet with your adult or your brother or sister if they're older than you and they can help you. I hope this has been okay. I know it's a lot, okay, and that's why you need to do a bit each day. I hope you've done a bit each day, and that is our new learning. So if you can keep practicing, okay, writing number sentences and then drawing the picture to go with it, that would be fantastic. Hope that's okay. Okay, guys, this is me signing out. There'll be another new learning lesson next week. Okay, bye.